Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Math with Dr. War. I'm continuing with the types of function questions you will see on the Tasc test, and we're going to look at function notation where we're going to be evaluating functions. This is a high emphasis topic on the Tasc exam. So let's begin. So the first question says if h of x equals 2x squared minus 6x plus 1, what is h of negative 2? So this right here, we actually read this as h of negative 2. Does not mean that h is multiplying negative 2. It's basically saying that that negative 2 that's in the parentheses is representing your x. So I always tell my students the first thing I want you to do is to write your function on your scrap paper, which is h of x, 2x squared, minus 6x plus 1. And because I want to find h of negative 2, it means wherever I see x in my function, I need to replace it by negative 2. So I have 2 here. So in my parentheses would be negative 2. That is raised to the second power. Minus 6. My x is negative 2. And then lastly, plus 1. Once you've replaced your x by its numerical value, we're now on to Pemdas. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. In this function, I see exponents, multiplication, subtraction, and addition. So the first thing we're going to do is our exponents. Now negative 2 times negative 2 will give me a positive 4. So I have 2, and when I calculate negative 2 to the second power, I get positive 4. I'm going to bring down all my other values. And now we're going to move on to our next step, which will be multiplication. Now 2 times 4 is 8. This is my operator. I'm going to keep that. Now 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. And then plus 1. Here we're doing simple operations with integers. So we're subtracting. And remember the rule states you keep the first, you change the subtraction sign to an addition, you change the second integer to the opposite. So negative 12 will become positive 12. And then we're just going to bring down the plus 1. Because remember, when you only have addition and subtraction, you do whichever comes first from left to right. So we're going to subtract first and then add. And if you add 8 and 12, you're going to get 20. And then if you add 1, your answer is 21. So your answer is C. Now, if this was on the section where you could use a calculator, once you replace your x by the negative 2, what I have in the green box is what you would place in your calculator. So notice I'm entering into the calculator just as I see it into the green box. So negative 2, and then we square, minus 6, negative 2, and then plus 1. And I hit enter. Notice I get 21. Let's try this again. So here I have if g of a, so they say g of a equals to 2a to the third minus 6a squared plus 1. They want us to find g of negative 4. So wherever I see a, I'm going to replace it by negative 4. So this is 2. So this would be negative 4 here to the third power minus 6, negative 4, and that's to the second power, and then plus 1. So again, exponents are first. So negative 4 to the third power means that negative 4 is going to multiply itself 3 times. Negative 4 times negative 4 is a positive 16. So these two, when I multiply, give me positive 16. And when I take that and multiply it by negative 4, a positive times a negative is a negative, and 16 times 4 is 64. So this would be 2. This gives me negative 64. Minus 6. We have another exponent here, and this is negative 4 to the second power. Now we just did that when we did negative 4 times negative 4, which is actually negative 4 to the second power. That gave us positive 16. And our last step is to add 1. And now we're going to multiply. So we have to multiply 2 times negative 64. My answer will be a negative. And then if you multiply by 2, so 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 6 is 12. So that will be negative 128. Minus, remember this is our operator. 6 times 16, go on the side. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 1 is 6. Plus 3 is 9, so that's 96. Plus 1. Now, because they're only subtraction and addition, we're going to do whichever comes first. So again, notice that we're subtracting. So when you subtract, remember you keep the first. You change the subtraction sign to an addition. And your second integer, you change to the opposite. So this is a positive 96. This becomes a negative 96. And if you're adding, just bring down the plus 1. Remember, when you're adding and the signs are the same, we add. And we keep the sign of the larger number. So this answer will be negative. And we need to add 128 with 96. So it's a good thing we still have our working. Okay, so we have 14 here, carry the 1. Oh, I put my 1 there. 9 and 1 is 10, plus 2 is 12, carry the 1. And 1 and 1 is 2. So that is going to give us negative 224. And now we have to add 1. When the signs are different, we subtract. So that will be 223 and keep the sign of the larger number. So our answer is negative 223. Again, if you're going to use the calculator, this is all that we're going to enter in the calculator. And this question may come on the calculator section because they chose their A value as negative 4, which is very high. So let's get our calculator. So we have 2, open the parentheses, negative 4, close. Now notice this is to the third power, so you need the caret. 3, go to the right. Okay, we're going to subtract 6, open the parentheses, negative 4, close. This has the square, so that's good. And then finally plus 1. And you enter, answer is negative 223. Okay, number 3, it says 3x to the 4th plus 5. What is f of negative 2? So I have f of x here. And remember, your function could be a g, a h, a f. They can use their 26 letters in the alphabet. So you have 3x to the 4 plus 5. We want f of negative 2. So we have 3, negative 2 to the 4th power. And then you're going to add 5. For time, I'm going to use the calculator. 3, open, negative 2, close. Now because it's a 4, you need the caret. There's the 4. Go to the right, add 5, enter. And notice our answer is 53. Okay, let's look at the last one here. So sometimes you might have to fill in the grid. It says here, a company uses the function Sx equals 0.4x plus 2 to calculate shipping costs. So they give you the function Sx equals 0.4x plus 2. They say Sx is the total cost in dollars to ship an envelope, and the x is the weight of the envelope in ounces. And they said using the given function, how much would it cost? So we want to find the total cost, so we're trying to find Sx. Would it cost to ship an envelope that weighs 6 ounces? So who is that 6? That 6 is your x, because that's the weight. So we're trying to find S6. So this would be 0.4 times 6 plus 2. This is an easy calculation. Notice it's just multiplication and addition. So who would be first? Multiplication. If you go on the side and you multiply, 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. How many decimal places? 1. So that's 2.4. And now we have to add 2 to that. So that's like saying, okay, I have $2.40 and I'm adding $2 to that. It means I have $4.40. So if you want to line it up and add it, you can. You have to be able to manipulate your numbers. And again, remember to just, write it in. And then you just bubble 4.4. If you're on the computer-based test, there'll be a box and you would just type in 4.4. If you are using the calculator, 0.4, get your parentheses, insert 6, add 2, enter, and there's your 4.4. I hope you found this lesson helpful where you're evaluating functions. Again, this is high emphasis on the Tasc test. Good luck on your exam. Please share, subscribe, hit the notification button, and if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below.